Hey friends, Amitabha Mental Love here. Just I want to make this video for you. Very serious time right now, this pandemic with coronavirus. I personally don't think it's as big a deal as the media is hyping it up to be. I've seen some statistics that show that it only has half the death rate of the regular flu, and I think we're gonna see by the end of this that it really wasn't much more than the regular flu. However, um, I mean, people are taking it seriously, and I think they should. I mean, you should, you know, take it as seriously as though it's deadly, but don't let it worry you and freak you out. I have pretty bad asthma. I have my whole life, and it's actually been worse the last year or so. And so, if I were to get it, I would probably not do very well. Um, but I just wanted to make this video to share a few things with you guys. Uh, One thing about hope and your immune system and food. And so I'll start with the hope part. I don't know who's watching this, but be careful watching the news. I had to stop and I shut down my Facebook because I just couldn't take it. I actually got really upset the one day, and I was afraid I was going to lose my job. Like I was afraid of my company was going to shut down. Luckily, we make things to do with food, so we're safe there. My brother is off work for until April 20th. He works for Toyota. So a lot of people are in a lot of trouble, and luckily the government's going to help out. Hopefully, it'll be enough. But the one thing I want to say is that this will pass, and everything will be fine again. But there are a few key takeaways here. So we need to have hope. We need to, you know, not get suckered into this fear and panic. You know, you saw what happened with people buying up toilet paper. It was ridiculous. Um, and that's what actually started creating some of these food shortages. Like we didn't there wasn't actually a food shortage. It's just people were hoarding, you know what I mean? And it's a really selfish thing to do. Like it's really selfish because you saw those pasta aisles and the toilet paper aisles, they were completely empty. I don't eat meat, but the whole meat aisle was completely empty the one day I was in. It's just the rice, all the rice was gone. So man, that was hard grocery shopping that day for me because I'm a vegan, and so there was no rice and no pasta. Oh man, what am I gonna eat? I literally was like, what am I gonna eat? I messaged my mom, like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna eat. You know what I mean? I eat rice and pasta like almost every day. But I started worrying a bit, but I realized, this is I'm gonna find a way. There's gonna be something. I'll eat different things. I bought veggie burgers, and I bought more fruits and vegetables, and I did find one small bag of wild rice. Luckily, people don't like to eat healthy things, so for me anyways. And the only rice that was left was a small bag of wild rice, and it did have a little bit left of my red rice. But so I just want to just hopefully inspire you to try to stop watching the news and have some hope and faith that this is going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. And now I want to talk about some things you can do to protect yourself. So, the one thing I think everybody needs to do, because not everybody's going to do the second part, I would hope they would, but probably won't, knowing people. But this thing is something that everybody can do, and a lot of people are afraid of this, is meditating. And so it can increase your immune system and bring you a sense of peace and calm and disconnect you from what's going on in the mind and what's going on in the world. So it's really important to find some space between the worldly reality and awareness, because our awareness gets tied up into the worldly reality and it causes a lot of suffering for us. All of our suffering comes from our awareness getting confused with worldly reality and identifying that as who we are and that it belongs to us. So meditation is very simple. I'm just going to give you a very simple thing you can do. You're gonna watch your belly. You're gonna close your eyes. It could be dark room's good because it blocks out some of that light that blocks out that sense door, the sight door, and it helps with concentration when the lights are low or out. But don't worry about making your environment perfect. Just go ahead and do it. Give yourself like 10 minutes at least. 20 would be better, but just give yourself 10 minutes. You're gonna close your eyes and you're gonna become aware of your belly moving in and out. And as it moves out, just saying inhale. As it moves in, exhaling. Inhale, exhaling. And your mind's going to travel away. And you just say, that's okay. And you relax and you come back to it. And this is a split-second thing. You don't say, it's okay. You can. But eventually it just becomes like a split-second thing. You take as long as you need, but you don't want to get caught up in those thoughts. You just allow them to be where they are. You know, a lot of great monks say you just need to leave the world alone. We need to leave the world alone. So when the mind travels away, you just internally just acknowledge it. Okay, it's okay. And you don't become stressed about it. Don't think I can't do this. It's the biggest reason why people can't meditate is they say I can't do this, and that's one of the 5 hindrances. It's actually 2 really. Actually, it's more than 2. I think it's really 3. It's ill will against yourself. It's restlessness and doubt. So those things are the things that keep you from meditation. Those things we need to transcend to be able to get some peace. So you just recognize, okay, there's hindrances in the mind. It's okay that it traveled. I can let it go. And then you come back to your belly. Eventually what happens is it becomes easier and easier to do that. And then you just sort of sink into peace. And then you might go back into thought again. But as you get good at this, as you practice every day, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, your mind will develop mindfulness power, sati. So this will help you, first of all, your doubt will start to resolve, because as soon as you start to get access some of the peace, you're like, oh yeah, well, look, I can do that. And how did you do that? You did it by letting go. So you realize the restlessness was a problem. You let the restlessness go, and you start to be able to sink into that peace. You stop beating yourself up saying I can't do this, because it's kind of a form of ill will towards yourself. And then you start to sink into this peace. So it increases your immune system, which is what we all need right now. It also gives you just this real sense of okayness and ease, and it's something that you can do to disconnect from the world. You're not denying reality, but you're just saying, there's another type of reality. There's always this option of settling into peace. Sorry, it's pretty late. I gotta go to bed. So meditation is something I really think everybody should do every day. It's very important. It has an incredible amount of health benefits. So if you just look at benefits of meditation, you'll see them all. The other thing I wanted to recommend people do is eat mushrooms, cooked mushrooms every single day, and kale. These are 2 of the most immune boosting foods on the planet. And even better, make a kale mushroom kind of stir fry. Why not? Mushrooms you have to cook. There's a toxin in them if you don't cook them. So kale you can eat raw or cooked. So I think this is a great thing to add into your diet. Ideally, people would cut out animal products. This whole pandemic, from this Wuhan virus that came from Wuhan, it came out of people eating bats. And people thought it was snakes at one point, but it turns out it seems like it was from eating bats in this market in Wuhan, China. So there's a presentation by Dr. Greger on, if you just type in Dr. Greger pandemic in YouTube, you'll find it. And it talks about all of the causes of all of the great pandemics, and every single major pandemic disease, including HIV, including smallpox, this coronavirus, the swine flu, they're all caused by animal products, eating animal products and being in close proximity and touching animals. And I think you should love animals, but we're not the same type of animal. We're not supposed to be close to them. We're afraid of them for the most part. They're afraid of us. We're supposed to love them and respect them, protect them, but don't get too close. Even dogs and cats, you get diseases from dogs and cats. You get parasites from dogs and cats. From cats, they give humans a virus that makes it so that they can't smell pee, or that it smells good to them. Sounds crazy, but it's true. Um, it I think it makes it so that mice mice will be attracted to cats so they can eat them or something like that, some evolutionary kind of thing. So if you have cats, you probably have this virus. If you have dogs, I mean, my ex-girlfriend, I was dating this girl from California, and right before she was coming to see me, she got parasites. She got worms, tapeworm, or I actually don't know what type of worm it was, but she was sleeping with her dog, and what happens is dogs lick you, and then they transfer the parasites to your mouth or your fingers, and you touch your face, and then you get these parasites, and then you poo them out at night, and then they get right back into you. It's just so disgusting. It all comes from being too close with animals, and consuming them. So, you know, we should appreciate nature and not exploit it. So this is part of the problem. This is the reason why this whole pandemic's happened, and it has absolutely 100% to do with eating animals. So eating pigs, for example, there's a virus that you get from eating pigs, and it causes obesity and I think there's a cancer virus. When you eat any type of meat, including dairy and cheese and eggs, it turns on TOR, which is an enzyme called targeted rapamycin, and that they've called the light switch for cancer. So that's more specifically dairy, but all animal products, they increase TMAO in the gut, and if you don't eat animal products, you don't really produce that, and that's a cancer-causing compound that gets that the gut flora produce. And when you eat animal products, they're very acidic and full of pathogens, then you're eating all their flora as well, and then your microbiome gets all messed up, and it becomes disease promoting, and you can get colon cancer and all these different types of cancers and heart disease and diabetes and all these different types of things. And eating animal products leads to major constipation. Even if you don't feel constipated, you will be constipated. And that is a known cause of diabetes. I have a friend that has diabetes, and he said his blood sugars were all whacked up, and he took a big poo, and then his blood sugars went down. And he also told me that he stopped eating animal products for a little while, and his blood sugars got better. And the reason why that is for several reasons. One is that animal fats and protein have been proven to increase blood sugar, spike blood sugar. I think it's like 40 times more than table sugar. So it's better for diabetic to eat table sugar than it is to eat meat. The other thing is animal fats, they get in your fats, and animal fats are easily absorbed, and they're very easily absorbed, and then they clog up your muscles, and called intramyocellular fat, lipids, and so that blocks your muscles' ability to have the insulin receptor open up and allow the sugars in, so the sugars stay in your bloodstream. So animal products are bad all the way around. Cheese and dairy are directly linked to acne. Every single disease that you can think about, almost virtually every single disease, are linked to consuming animals, or being too close to them, exploiting their habitat. Even ticks is related to being, encroaching on animals' territory. So with when we encroach in the animals' territories, the wolves are going away, like they're further away into to their they're escaping away from a loud city and city sounds, and the wolves normally would eat the mice, and so the mice can get closer into the cities, and they piggyback on deers, and I can't remember exactly what you have to watch the documentary by or the presentation by Dr. Greger. It's either that the mice uh, carry the ticks, or they transfer the ticks to the deer, or the mice go and they piggyback on the deer and they get the ticks, and then they bring the ticks closer into society. So Lyme disease is directly linked to being too close to animals and not respecting nature. So I think it's really important that we respect nature, and we should only be eating what we can easily consume with our hands. That's nature. You cannot easily consume an animal. It would take you a very long time, and you would die from food poisoning, because you have to think pre-fire and pre-tools, and that's really the diet we should be eating, and living in a tropical climate. Now, luckily, we can get tropical foods here. There in northern countries. I'm in Canada, so we can kind of simulate being in a tropical environment. We can take vitamin D because we don't get much sun here. But you have to think about the only real way to live a healthy life is to live in harmony with nature, and killing is directly out of harmony with nature. Even if you don't do it, even if you buy it at the grocery store, we need light and from the sun. So the sun brings light into the plants, and they take the minerals from the earth and the light, and they create complex carbohydrates, and that's what we need. So complex carbohydrates are really a storehouse for light, and our cells communicate with biophotons. So we need to get light into our system. So everything we eat is like a transfer from the sun into the sun and the earth are transferred to us. So it's really important to get your light in an unadulterated form, as unadulterated as possible. So if you eat animal products, you're getting second rate sun. You know what I mean? You're getting third rate sun. The animal eats the so there's the sun, and then there's the plant that the animal ate. At some point, there's always animals eating plants. So the animals ate the plants. With fish, they're eating the plankton, or they're eating other fish that ate plankton, and they got their energy from the sun. So the animals eat the plants, and then humans eat the animals, and so that sun energy is already started to die. It's already dead, really, in the animal, because it's already transformed into their cells. You eat their cells, you're getting really poor source of minerals. You're getting almost no minerals or none in meat, and very few vitamins, and you're getting very, very poor source of sunlight. You're getting adulterated sunlight. So the best way to get unadulterated sunlight and to get minerals and energy in your body — we need energy in order to stay healthy, to keep cancer away. Cancer is something that thrives in an energy deficit — is to eat plants in any form you can, whether they're cooked, whether they're raw, hopefully a combination of both, and lots of water. So avoiding acidic foods and eating as much plant product as you possibly can. And you have to think about this. So plants, you could take a head of celery and you could eat all the celery, just leave the little base, put it back in the ground, or put it in a cup of water, and it'll regrow. Same with lettuce, same with pineapple, same with almost every single plant. You eat a tomato, you don't eat a few of the seeds, throw it into the ground, or you poop out the seeds or whatever, and then more tomatoes grow. So you don't kill the plant, where with the animal you absolutely kill it and it can't live again. So So you can take from plants without taking their life force, because they can bear their children in the form of new plants. When you kill an animal, it cannot bear more children. So you're actually committing, in my view, and if you really really think about it, you're committing the greatest sin possible, is taking away the ability for another being to create, because we are creating beings. Even if you believe in the Bible, Jesus says you'll do all the things I've done and even greater things. You will find that you're happiest if you're creating something. I'm a songwriter, and I find if I don't write songs for a while, and it's, just getting personal, but I won't even, like, sometimes I have a hard time. I only go to the washroom once a day or something. Number two, and when I write a song, that creative energy, it does something to my body, and then I'll get rid of all this extra matter that I was holding on to, and it really cleans me out. So that there's something about creativity and creation. So you'll find all these people that create businesses. They have this drive and this energy, and this focus. People that create music, that's their passion. People that have children, that's their passion, and it becomes their life. Like my sister is like super hockey mom. My cousin's super hockey mom. You know what I mean? It's really important to my other cousin. He's like super into his business, and that's a creative thing for him. You know what I mean? And so my brother likes to cook. You know what I mean? Like, it's a creative thing, whatever you do, and the more creative you can be, the better. You'll feel happier. You feel more productive. You feel like you have a purpose. So that's why it's so important that we don't take that away from. It's like you're taking the free will away from another being, and stealing creativity and taking the free will from another being is the worst possible karmic thing that humans or anyone can do, because you're taking yourself, because you have to realize that we're all kind of the same. We're all one, right? Like, we all have this life essence, whatever that is. And when you take that from another being, you're taking that away from yourself. You're saying you don't deserve life, and in some way you're taking that away from yourself. So you're taking life force away from yourself in some sort of like symbiotic energetic exchange. So when you take life force energy away from another being, this is getting a little philosophical, but it really does connect if you really think about it. When you eat death, you get death. You eat dead animals, you're eating a corpse, and so you're not going to get life out of it. You eat a plant that can live and grow and regrow itself and have its own progeny. Then you're contributing to cyclical evolution of creativity and expansion and expression of creativity, which is all we're here to do. Now, I think there's this other thing, to become enlightened, but that aside, most people don't strive for that. I think is a great noble effort, but if you're going to live a worldly life, you better be creating, because you will suffer if you're not creating. Everybody's happiest when they create. Even making real terse form of creation is like making love with your partner. Like, that's creating love. It's like expressing creativity, this love, expression towards someone you love. Love is creativity. So even if you don't have a hobby or a passion or a business or anything you love to do, just loving is I think the greatest form of creativity. And so don't feel like, oh, I don't have anything I can create. Practice loving kindness and spread that to all beings. That's the greatest creation, because that's all we're really that's all we really need. Love is all you need. The Beatles said it right. So anyways, long video. Hope you enjoyed it. We will be free from this coronavirus at some point. It may come back later on at some point, and that's only going to be because people continue to eat animal products. So the choice is yours. If you want to contribute to death and disease of yourself and all other beings. Continue to eat animal products if you want to contribute to life, love, creativity. Eat plants. Find a creative pursuit. And if you don't have one, or at the very least, love your family, your children, and yourself, and spread loving kindness to all beings in all directions. Thank you so much. I love you. Peace.